Okay, let's dive into a book that will absolutely reframe how you think about wealth. It argues that doing well with money has less to do with what you know and everything to do with how you behave. Because when it comes to your finances, it's not really a numbers game, it's a psychology game.
And to kick things off, we're going to start with a real-life story that seems to defy all logic. It's a tale of two men whose financial outcomes were the complete opposite of what anyone, and I mean anyone, would have ever predicted.
So, on one side, you have Ronald Reed, a humble janitor. This guy quietly built an $8 million fortune just by saving what little he could and patiently investing it for decades. And on the other side, you've got Richard Foscone, a Harvard-educated executive at the absolute top of his game, living this incredible, lavish life, who ended up completely bankrupt.
I mean, seriously, how does that even happen? This isn't just some weird one-off story. It gets right to the core secret of building wealth. Think about it. In what other field can a total amateur with zero training outperform a highly educated expert? Well, it happens in investing, and the reason why is a complete game changer. So, what's the answer to this puzzle? Well, it has very little to do with spreadsheets or fancy financial models, and almost everything to do with what's going on inside your own head.
And here it is, the big idea. Doing well with money is less about how smart you are and way more about how you act. It's a soft skill. You know, patience, the kind of Ronald Reed had, that's a behavior. Greed, which is what brought down Richard Foscone, that's also behavior. One builds wealth, and the other, well, it just destroys.
In fact, being a genius can actually be a huge liability if it's not paired with emotional control. Just imagine a brilliant investor who panics and sells everything during a market crash. They can lose it all. In the end, your behavior will always trump your brains.
And that's why we have to stop treating money like it's a math problem, you know? Like you can just plug numbers into a formula and get the right answer. It's not clean and tidy like physics. It's psychology. It's messy. It's emotional, and it's guided by all of our weird human biases.
Now, to really get a handle on this, let's explore 3 foundational truths from the book that explain why your behavior is your greatest financial superpower.
First up, and this one is so important to get, no one is crazy. A financial decision that seems completely irrational to you might make perfect sense to someone else. Why? Because their entire view of money was shaped by their own, unique and often limited, life experiences. Now, take a look at this because it shows you exactly what I mean. If you were born in 1970, the stock market soared during your teenage years, so you're probably pretty optimistic about stocks. But if you were born just 20 years earlier in 1950, the market basically went nowhere. If you grew up with crazy high inflation, you fear it. If you were born in the 90s, it's barely a blip on your radar. Your personal history literally becomes your financial reality. All right, the second truth is that luck and risk are siblings. They are two sides of the very same coin, and they play a much, much bigger role in how things turn out financially than most of us are willing to admit. I mean, for every incredible story of 1 in a million luck, like Bill Gates just happening to go to one of the only high schools on the planet with a computer back then, there's an equally powerful story of 1 in a million risk. His brilliant friend Kent Evans, who almost certainly would have co-founded Microsoft with him, tragically died in a freak mountaineering accident. It's the same powerful force, just pointed in opposite directions.
And this right here, this slide brilliantly shows that the most powerful force in all of investing isn't skill and it's not luck, it's time. Warren Buffett's real secret isn't just that he's a great investor, it's that he's been a great investor for over 75 years. Think about that number. The vast majority of his wealth was earned well after he was old enough for Social Security. That's just a magic of compounding doing its thing year after year.
So the final truth is maybe the most dangerous psychological trap of them all. It's that social comparison game of constantly wanting more, even when you already have everything you need. It's that feeling of never enough.
Just look at Rajat Gupta and Bernie Madoff. These guys were already unbelievably wealthy and successful. Gupta was worth $100 million. Madoff's legitimate business was making him tens of millions a year. But it wasn't enough. They risked their freedom, their reputations, everything for more money they didn't even need. And it destroyed them. When the author Joseph Heller was told that some hedge fund manager made more money in a single day than his classic novel Catch-22 had made in its entire history, this was his reply. And it just perfectly captures the only real way to win the money game, defining your own personal sense of enough.
So let's bring this all together.
Let's make this something you can actually use in your own financial life. Because understanding this idea of enough is the key to avoiding self-destruction.
Winning this game means you have to get the goalpost to stop moving. If your expectations just keep rising with your results, you'll never feel satisfied. You have to reject social comparison, because that is a battle you can never, ever win. You've got to appreciate what you have, because that hunger for more is what pushes you to take foolish risks. And most importantly, never, ever risk things you can't live without, like your reputation, your freedom, your family, for something you don't truly need.
So we'll end on this question, which is probably the single most important financial question you can ever ask yourself. This isn't a math problem, it's a deeply personal question, and answering it is the first and most crucial step in turning your behavior into your greatest financial asset.